Old money and quiet luxury are not the same thing, just like James Bond and a TikTok influencer might wear the same suit, but you just know one has pedigree, the other just has followers. You see, the old money style doesn't shout, it doesn't need to prove anything. It's the guy who walks into a restaurant and the maitre d' already knows his name without ever having seen his credit card. It's the billionaire who wears cashmere and worn-out loafers, while the nouveau riche flaunts a Gucci logo on his chest like a walking billboard. Quiet luxury. That's a different game. It's new money trying to learn the subtlety of old money. It's a style that preaches discretion but still carries a certain effort to look sophisticated. Does it work? Yes, but it's the difference between inheriting a mansion in Palm Beach and taking out a loan to buy an apartment decorated in a Hamptons-inspired style. So what you wear can show whether you belong or are just trying to. But can you actually learn the code? Is there a way to move between these two worlds without looking like a fraud? If you want to understand how to turn your image into real power without looking like a newbie trying to impress, you know what to do. Subscribe to the Man of Elegance channel, turn on notifications and leave a like, because elegance isn't just a detail, it's what separates men from boys. Quiet luxury, the style of those who have money or those who want to have it. Have you ever noticed that people who truly have money don't need to prove anything? Meanwhile, those trying to convince the world they're rich make sure to walk around with a giant Balenciaga logo on their chest, like a walking advertisement. Quiet luxury is the exact opposite of this need for validation. But here's the detail no one tells you. This style isn't about what you wear, but about what your clothes say about you. In recent years, quiet luxury has exploded as a trend. Shows like Succession have showcased the real billionaire aesthetic. Akuvam, cashmere, impeccable tailoring, perfect cuts and absolutely no visible logos. So brands that once catered exclusively to the 1% have now spotted an opportunity, turning this silent code into something sellable. But when an exclusivity rule becomes an accessible trick, does it still work? The truth is, quiet luxury has become a manual for those who want to look rich without being rich. The problem is that subtlety has nuances. You can buy a Loro Piana cashmere sweater and think you're playing in the billionaire league. But if the fit isn't perfect, if you pair it with the wrong shoes, or if you carry the wrong energy, guess what? You'll just look like a guy who spent money trying to imitate a billionaire. The human brain picks up micro-expressions and visual cues in milliseconds. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that participants were more likely to trust and admire people wearing high-quality, logo-free clothing over those flaunting, flashy designer pieces. The reason? True status doesn't need to be displayed. It imposes itself. Quiet luxury can be a shortcut to looking sophisticated, but if it's just a uniform you put on without understanding the code, it'll be the aesthetic equivalent of a fake accent. And there's nothing more embarrassing than a guy trying to be something he's not. Old money. Do you have it, or are you just playing dress-up? The problem with trying to look old money is simple. Those who truly belong to that world don't need to look the part. It's like trying to perfect a British accent after spending a month in London. No matter how much effort you put in, there will always be someone who can tell it's not natural. In the 1980s, the preppy look dominated the United States. Brands like Ralph Lauren, Brooks Brothers, and J. Press became the unofficial uniform of the Ivy Leagues. This style became associated with power, sophistication, and, of course, wealth. Many men without pedigree adopted this look as a passport to higher social circles. But wearing a navy blazer and draping a sweater over your shoulders doesn't automatically turn you into a Vanderbilt. Old money style isn't just about clothing. It's about attitude, context, and most importantly, effortlessness. A Princeton University study on thin slicing, the brain's ability to make instant judgments, showed that it takes only 1/10 of a second for us to decide whether someone seems trustworthy or not. In other words, you could invest in an entire Loro Piana wardrobe, but if you don't carry yourself with the right posture and body language, you'll look about as authentic as a Hollywood actor playing a European aristocrat. Dressing like an old money man can be a shortcut to projecting sophistication. But if your behavior gives away insecurity, excessive effort, or a desperate need for acceptance, the effect is exactly the opposite. And nothing exposes an imposter more than the fear of being discovered. Old money versus quiet luxury. The difference between belonging and trying to belong. There's an invisible line separating those who are from those who are trying to be. And this line becomes even clearer when you analyze style. Old money and quiet. Luxury may look similar at first glance. After all, both reject flashy displays of wealth and avoid loud logos. But while one represents generations of established wealth, the other is a calculated strategy to appear sophisticated without flaunting a bank account. For decades, heirs of the American elite, from the Kennedys to the Vanderbilts, dressed in a preppy style, incorporating bold colors, structured blazers, and a touch of aristocratic nonchalance. This look became synonymous with quiet status. But in recent years, quiet luxury has emerged as a more modern and accessible alternative, promoted by brands like Brunello Cucinelli and the Rao, which turned the absence of logos into a new symbol of exclusivity. The difference between these two styles isn't just in the choice of clothing, but in the intention behind it. The old money man wears a Ralph Lauren blazer with red trousers because he grew up watching his grandfather do the same at yacht regattas. He doesn't think twice before putting on a worn-out cashmere sweater because he knows that no one in his circle needs a logo to recognize quality. Meanwhile, the quiet luxury enthusiast is playing a game of perception. He wears neutral tones, impeccable fabrics, and minimalist cuts because he wants to be perceived as sophisticated. Does it work? Yes, but it's the difference between speaking a language fluently and memorizing a few phrases to impress. A study published in the Psychology of Fashion journal revealed that 82% of people perceive an individual as more trustworthy when they dress in a sophisticated yet discreet manner. However, when a group of participants was exposed to people wearing the same style but showing subtle signs of insecurity, like frequently adjusting their clothes or standing stiffly, their perception of authenticity dropped dramatically. So dressing within the right code can open doors, but if your body language, behavior, or posture reveal that you're trying to fit in rather than simply existing in that world, the door closes just as quickly. Because in the end, it's not just about what you wear, but about who you convince people you are. Elegant men don't dress well by accident. They master a code that separates those who belong from those who are merely trying. The fit of your clothing isn't just a detail. It's the silent signature of your position in the game. A $1,000 blazer with the wrong fit makes you look like a second-rate lawyer. A $300 blazer, perfectly tailored, can make you pass as an heir who doesn't need to try. In the 20th century, old money style established a clear aesthetic, structured but never tight cuts. American preppies wore looser blazers, straight-leg trousers, and relaxed shirts, while British aristocrats opted for impeccable tailoring and fabrics that aged well. Elegance came not just from the quality of the pieces, but from the effortlessness with which they were worn. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the obsession with ultra-tight suits took over men's fashion, and suddenly, every man who wanted to look sophisticated was wearing clothes that were far too snug. The result? Grown men looking like teenagers, fresh out of a discount mall. In both old money and quiet luxury, the perfect fit is the line between a man wearing his clothes and a man being worn by them. The difference between a Vanderbilt's suit and that of an aspiring Instagram businessman is in the shoulders, the lightness of the fabric, the cut that doesn't fight against the body. A Columbia University study showed that individuals perceived as elegant and confident wore clothes that were slightly looser than average. No exaggeration, no uncomfortable tightness. In contrast, those who wore overly tight clothing were associated with anxiety and insecurity. Both quiet luxury and old money value perfect tailoring, but if you go overboard and look like you've been vacuum sealed into your suit, all your investment in brand and fabric goes down the drain. At the end of the day, the difference between an elegant man and a desperate salesman is the comfort he exudes in what he wears. And comfort, in this case, doesn't mean excess looseness. It means mastery of one's own space. So now you understand the difference between old money and quiet luxury. You know that style isn't just about clothes, but about attitude, about how you occupy a space without needing to prove anything. But there's one detail that might be sabotaging all of this: how you wear what you already own. You can have the right fit, the right fabrics, the perfect colors, but if you wear your clothes like a mall kid trying to impress at his first job interview, all your effort goes to waste. And this is exactly where most people go wrong. The secret of the most elegant men isn't constantly buying new pieces. It's knowing how to wear what they already own the right way. You already know the difference between old money and quiet luxury. But what if I told you that 90% of men get something even more basic completely wrong? It's not what they buy, nor what they wear, it's how they wear it. The difference between an elegant man and an amateur isn't in the price of his clothes, it's in the details that almost no one notices, except those who truly have power. So if you want to master this code once and for all and learn how to be more elegant without spending a dime, there's a video you need to watch. How to be more elegant without buying new clothes. The secret of successful men. There you'll learn what really separates an elegant man from someone just throwing money around, thinking that's enough. If this video helped you see style in a more sophisticated way, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like, because those who want success understand that elegance isn't a detail, it's a weapon. If you enjoyed the video, write in the comments, "The right style commands respect." Did you like it?